All right. Well, I want us to show some love. I want us to at least spend a couple of minutes before we close on question 11. I'll read it. Mitsuye Yamada in Asian Pacific Women and Feminism teaches us that the 1942 Evacuation Order was first protested by a young Japanese woman. Reading this made me think of Darnella Frazier, the 17-year-old Black teen who filmed the May 25th murder of George Floyd, sparking the chaos, mayhem, riots, protests, rebellion, uprisings, battles, war, revolution, whatever you're calling it, of late May 2020. If you could speak directly to Darnella Frazier, what would you say?
I mean, I guess first, my first thing would be to say nothing because I would want to hug her. I think there is, and I say that, and I don't even say it cautiously, but I say it knowing and understanding like Black women, the way we maneuver, we have to be very careful because the corporate media will always want to use us as a tool to mammy us, to be the mule and the mammy, the one who could withstand everything, as kind of Zora Neale Hurston warned us about Black women being the mules of the world. And then what I've seen them say about Atlanta's mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms, like, oh, after that lecture, oh, she's the mother, she did that like a mother, and told them get home and get out of the store, stop looting. And so I offer, my offering to her would be the hug, not mammying, but it's sisterhood, because there are so many scholars who talk about Black girlhood being this site, but it's this kind of, it's a site, and it's problematized because it is it's there, but it's also kind of denied. So if we're thinking about girlhood, this notion of you and the mistakes and so on and so forth that other children are allowed to make, and the ways in which they're allowed to come of age, that's not going to happen with Black youth. And so Black girlhood is always already in flux. And there's a way that Black girls are always read as growner than. They are hypersexualized earlier, and they are, or hypersexualized at all. I mean, there's all these things, these assaults that Black girls have to overcome. So I would, the hug would be, first, it's sisterhood. It's to just say, I understand. And these are the legacies that so many Black women bequeath to us, and we're bequeathing to them, that they always have to bear witness. And bearing witness, it costs us something. Sometimes it's a psychic trauma. Sometimes there's a physical trauma, there's that emotional trauma, but we always have to bear witness. I have twin daughters, as you all know. The girls are 13 now, and I've already taught my girls, like, a part of their literacy and their understanding how to read is you got to read a situation. So if I'm stopped, if your dad is stopped, if your brother stopped, start recording. Read that situation critically, quickly, and start recording. And luckily they know that they have the social media where they can go live. And I've already told them go live. So this is the space we have to hold, right? And the question is, when does it end? Where does it end? How does it end? I mean, I don't know.
I tell you, I'd like to say to that sister, thank you. You know, I was when you think about what she did, because just a couple of weeks earlier, when Ahmaud Arbery was struck down so viciously by that father and son duo, and then you find out that the third person who was involved with it was the one that was actually recording it, never thinking that anyone would say anything. Uh, that he's recording this for sport to show what they did to this young black brother. Now this sister had the wherewithal and was brave enough to record it and put it out. And since then, I understand that she's been getting all sorts of death threats on her life. Uh, but she's a strong black woman, definitely a strong black woman. And I would just like to say thank you to her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess I love the comments and to hug her, but I think that this is the time where you want to provide a space to hear where she is and listen. You know, her life has changed drastically
Mm-hmm.
because of this. So here's the opportunity to listen to what her fears and her experiences and her vision might be for moving forward, and what can I or we do as people who are a little older or a lot older who may have little or more resources that can then protect and support her, you know, because I think that as a community, we do need to make sure that she has whatever she needs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and she has already publicly stated that she's traumatized, like she's having nightmares. She's already stated that. And so, you know, there are folks who come forward who've been talking about counseling and so forth, and not just her, also protest those folks who've been on the front lines who are going to need those resources. So they're creating, you know, kind of these banks of who will do this kind of labor. Where are counselors, our psychologists, our psychotherapists, our psychiatrists, even those folks who will do this work and not necessarily, you know, be paid at scale and what they're accustomed to be paid. But she has definitely told us she's having nightmares. She's traumatized.
In regards to her surroundings, I think by her, you know, being brave enough to just record and not physically do anything was a smart idea. Like, she literally said on social media that she chose to not do, you know, interfere with the encounter because she didn't want the situation to get worse, for the cops to retaliate and even potentially hurt more people. So I just think she's a brave soldier for even, you know, doing what she did. And I just hope things, you know, get for her from here on.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I guess, like my brother Larry, more than anything, I want to say thank you. Um, you know, I know what a great emotional cost this is going to be, because she's going to be living with those images forever. And you know, a lot of Black people, you know, really don't want to know much about Black history. We don't want to read the books because it's painful. You know, we don't want to watch the videos because it's painful. But, you know, from another perspective, we do need to protect ourselves from constantly and always looking directly at the ugliness going on here. But that you could hold that camera through that incident, I think is a profound act of courage. And it tells me something about what you're made of. And seeing what you're made of tells me that you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. It's going to take some time. But my hope is that you will always look truth in the face, except for when you need to rest, except for when you need to pause, because it is by facing the truth we gain the power to change our world. Look at what you did by facing the truth. Look at what you accomplished. You're a superstar. And I love you.
I think that, from my perspective is I just definitely thank her for her. And it kind of makes me think, not sure, what type of area she's from, but, has she, when you from certain areas, that violence and seeing people hurt or murdered is not, it's not new. You know what I mean? So in my mind, I think like, she's probably never seen anything like that before, but has she ever seen anything, similar to that? You know what I'm saying? And even with that, it's still, it can be, very traumatic. So, my hopes, would just for the right people to be around her, you know what I mean, that would assure her of that protection and every aspect, you know what I mean? And just, knowing that you have somebody to have your back, so that, if it was that traumatic to her, because in those type of situations, you can really become, numb to that stuff. You know what I mean? You could become, I remember, God rest his soul, talking to my uncle Dougie, when I was younger, about, one of my friends that had been murdered. And I remember after talking to him, he looked at me and was just like, "Dad, y'all joking, like you so cold," and I had just been used to it, you know what I mean? So it hadn't really affected me in that way. You know what I mean? It was going down. So when I think about it, I'm like, for her, it could be two ways. It could be something that she's used to, or it could be something that, it can really, be traumatic to her. But she just needs the right support, you know what I mean, and people around her, and the space to heal, though. Because a lot of times you see something like that, it who was expecting it to get this big? You know what I mean? So it's really, spilled over. And I would just, I think it's action, you know what I mean? And people just in her corner loving her up right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Loving her up hard and knowing that she has support. You know what I mean? And she's not by herself. She did nothing wrong. Because I seen a quote that they said that Will Smith had recently put up, and it was that racism hasn't necessarily just start to grow more. It's just we have the technology now. You know what I mean? So these things have been happening, crazy things. We can see it now. You know what I mean? So you have, in those situations, you have that choice to be like, I'm gonna pull this camera out and I'm gonna record it, regardless, or I'm gonna ignore it. You know what I mean? So she's definitely a brave soul. and she has my support.
I
Yeah.
hope,
Yeah.
I hope that this nation embraces her with their arms as they did Rosa Parks in that split second when she decided not to get up.
Mhm.
She sparked the
Mhm.
movement.
Mhm.
And this is what this sister has done.
Mhm.
And I hope we all show her that love.
Yeah.
Michelle,
Mhm.
I really loved what you said. And I'm wondering if there's some way that we can have like an open letter to her on from this group.
Sure.
I don't know if it just goes to
Yeah.
Facebook or if there's someplace else to send it, but we could definitely start with our Facebook page.
Yeah. 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 And yeah, we can work on that. I actually have been into making video clips of this session. I don't have them all posted yet, but I've kind of been doing a video segment of each question. So I'm definitely going to do that around this question. And, it could be transcribed and, or we could just write a letter. But yeah, yeah. Yeah. Larry, that numbness issue you brought up is a key issue. Gio, do you have some love for Darnella you want to leave us with?
Well, I think I don't know if I could say it any better than you guys have already said it. We've seen so many of our witnesses to crimes against us persecuted after the fact, their characters destroyed, and then some of them destroyed, right? So I think just wow, just how impressed I am of our young people, right? We've talked a lot about them, what they aren't, what we think they should be, but hey, look at what they deal with every day, wherever they are, right? And I wish things would be better. I wish that she would be hailed as a hero, a heroine, because that's what she is. She stood up like the best of us throughout history who have sacrificed, who've taken that stand, that split second, like what was mentioned before, that I'm going to do this because this is the right thing. Scared as I am, I'm going to do this right now, whatever comes, because it's the right thing. Because it could be me there, could be somebody I love there in that position. And this is the best I can do to help. And so I hope that the people around her protect her physically as well as emotionally and financially, because we know how this digital age, they'll bring that stuff up later, right? And try to
Mm-hmm.
destroy her. And we can't let that happen. We can't let her fall through the
Mm-hmm.
cracks like many of those who have stood up have. And
Mm-hmm.
so all the love we can show her in any way possible, and follow up on it. Because what happened to the young woman who testified at Trayvon Martin's trial? Whatever happened to her? Do we
Well,
know?
I need to find out if she graduated, but I know Tom's daughter and some initiatives that he was working with and through. He paid for her to go to college and have tutors and so forth to get her prepared. So I need to get an update. Rachel needs to have an
Okay,
update on her. Yeah.
that's beautiful. And I hope someone with the means, or many people with the means, make sure she's protected and taken care of. Because this is a turning point in history of the nation. Some people may say it's come back around in another circle, but We can't let it go on. It's got to go in a different direction after this. And so, with love, but with determination, we move forward and encourage each other to continue to do the right thing, do the hard thing, but do it. But do it. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excuse me, maybe we could also have some homework in terms of between now and we meet next week to see what is being done and for her to date. Because if we're reading a book called This Bridge Called My Back, we're all walking on her back. So it would just be nice that whatever little thing that comes out of this group, it comes out of it, even if it's just awareness that, we adopt her as the person that, we check in on when we open before, just to say, this is what we heard about this sister, so that we all keep her fresh in our minds.
Yeah. You want to see what you can find out for us?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Yes, but we should all do it. I'll definitely do it, but we should all do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I'll join you. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to work on getting the video together.
Okay.
So that we can craft whatever letter we want to do from that.